The yogurt shop murders stand as one of the most haunting criminal cases in American history, encapsulating tragedy, loss, and the unrelenting quest for justice. This gripping true story delves into the horrific events that transpired on a fateful night in December of 1991 in Austin, Texas, where 4 young girls had their lives brutally taken away, leaving behind an unsolved mystery that continues to torment their families and the community. On the evening of December 6, 1991, a typical Friday night in Austin, 4 teenage girls made plans to meet at the I Can't Believe It's yogurt shop. Eliza Thomas, 17, and her friend Jennifer Harbison, also 17, had just finished their shift at the yogurt shop when they were joined by Jennifer's 15-year-old sister, Sarah, and their friend, 13-year-old Amy Ayers. The girls were excited to hang out, share laughs, and enjoy each other's company. As the evening progressed, the atmosphere in the shop was vibrant and friendly. The girls had no idea that their lives were about to be irrevocably changed. It was a small, cozy establishment, an embodiment of youthful innocence and joy, far removed from the horrific events that would soon unfold. When the last customers left that night, the girls began to prepare to close the shop. They were responsible, diligent, and friendly teenagers, relishing their part-time jobs. However, as the clock struck closing time, their sweet night quickly turned into a nightmare. Shortly after the girls began to clean up, 2 armed men entered the shop. They were masked and wielded firearms, directing the frightened girls to the back of the store. In a matter of minutes, the joyful atmosphere was replaced by terror and confusion as the unsuspecting teenagers were tied up with their own clothing. The assailants, whose identities remained unknown, subjected the girls to unimaginable horrors. Investigators later discovered that Eliza, Jennifer, Sarah, and Amy had been gagged and shot execution style, each receiving a single gunshot wound to the back of their heads. The cold-bloodedness of the murders reflected a heinous act that Austin had never witnessed before, shattering the safety and security the community once felt. After committing the brutal killings, the attackers set the shop on fire in an attempt to destroy evidence and conceal their crime. The flames engulfed the shop, causing billows of smoke to fill the air. Firefighters soon arrived at the scene, but it was already too late. Amid the chaos of the flames and smoke, they discovered the 4 lifeless bodies of the girls, each extinguished in their prime. The shocking news of the yogurt shop murders sent ripples of grief, anger, and fear throughout Austin. The city had always been known as a safe, family-friendly environment, with no recent history of violent crime. The brutal nature of the attack not only horrified the families of the victims but also sent the entire community into a state of despair. As news outlets began covering the story, the names of the young victims became synonymous with the tragedy. Eliza Thomas, known as a caring and responsible young woman; Jennifer Harbison, a dedicated student with dreams of attending college; Sarah Harbison, a vibrant and athletic teenager; and Amy Ayers, an animal lover with ambitions of becoming a veterinarian. Their promises and aspirations ended in an unfathomable tragedy that would haunt their families and friends forever. The following days saw an outpouring of grief from the community. Vigils and memorial services were held to honor the girls, who were described as bright lights in the lives of those who knew them. Community members came together, despite their fear, to support the families affected by this horrific crime. They created makeshift memorials that adorned the site of the yogurt shop, a chilling reminder of a place that had once represented laughter and friendship. Investigators quickly recognized the need for immediate and thorough action to solve the case. The Austin Police Department, alongside the FBI and Texas Department of Public Safety, established a task force dedicated solely to the yogurt shop murders. They faced a daunting task. The crime scene was marred by fire, and the lack of forensic evidence made the investigation challenging. As they worked tirelessly, detectives collected evidence and interviewed hundreds of potential witnesses. They began creating a profile of possible suspects based on the crime scene. The use of 2 different guns in the murders suggested that at least 2 individuals were involved, implying a level of planning and cruelty that sent chills down the spine of every investigator. While leads were pursued, the investigation faced setbacks as early suspects were interviewed and subsequently ruled out due to a lack of evidence. Time marched on, and the case grew cold, deepening the despair felt by the victims' families. As if a cruel twist of fate, false confessions began to surface over the years, complicating matters further. People with no connection to the crime would come forward, claiming responsibility, only to be debunked upon further investigation. In 1999, after nearly 8 years of searching for the killers, the case took a dramatic turn. 4 men, Maurice Pierce, Forrest Welborn, Michael Scott, and Robert Springsteen were arrested in connection with the murders. Their initial interviews had raised suspicion early on, however, they had been released at the time due to insufficient evidence. The arrests in 1999 brought a wave of relief to the community, but quickly followed by skepticism. The lack of physical evidence tying the suspects to the crime highlighted the fragility of the case against them. Nonetheless, the confessions obtained during their interrogations became the new focal point for prosecutors. Michael Scott confessed after 4 days of intense questioning, detailing how they planned to rob the yogurt shop. He described the fear on the girls' faces and claimed he didn't want to kill them, but he shot one of them when she screamed. Robert Springsteen similarly claimed involvement, stating that he had shot one of the girls. However, there were chilling concerns about the validity of these confessions, as both Scott and Springsteen's statements were contradictory and inconsistent with the established facts of the case. As the trial commenced, the prosecution faced the challenge of proving their case without any physical evidence to back up the confessions. The defense lawyers argued vehemently that both confessions were coerced under duress. They pointed to the aggressive interrogation tactics that seemed to lead to their clients' incriminating statements. Both men were found guilty in separate trials in the early 2000s, and each was sentenced to life in prison. However, as appeals were filed and new evidence emerged, questions regarding the integrity of the confessions began to resurface. In 2006, new DNA testing techniques resurfaced the case, revealing that the forensic evidence had not been thoroughly examined earlier. A small DNA sample collected from the scene was re-examined, and the results indicated that it did not match any of the individuals previously arrested. This crucial finding cast doubt on their convictions. In 2009, both men were released from prison after their convictions were overturned, leaving a disgruntled community searching for closure once again. The case reverted to an unsolved status, reigniting the grief and anger for the families of the victims and raising concerns about the effectiveness of the justice system in delivering justice for the innocent victims. Years passed, and amidst the pain of unresolved grief, family members persevered in their quest to gather support for the cold case. The image of the 4 girls remained firm in their hearts, driving them to search for justice. With the advancement of forensic technology, law enforcement agencies renewed their efforts to analyze the evidence in hopes of finding a break in the case. Investigative units began utilizing current DNA tracking techniques that had not been available during the original investigation. In 2019, DNA samples obtained from the crime scene were analyzed again, revealing a male DNA profile that did not match any of the previously arrested suspects. Persisting with the investigation, authorities began exploring leads regarding potential new suspects who might have connections to the yogurt shop murder case. This revelation reignited the media's attention on the case, creating fresh hope that perhaps a conclusive resolution was within reach. Investigators resumed interviews and examined leads from individuals who had been overlooked in the initial investigation. Throughout this grueling journey, the families of Eliza, Jennifer, Sarah, and Amy remained resolute, keeping the memories of their daughters alive through community engagement and advocacy efforts. They participated in various events aimed at raising awareness about violence against women and children while seeking to bolster cold case investigations across the nation. Memorials were established in their honor, including annual events that focus on healing and remembrance. The families continually advocate for advancements in investigative technologies and methodologies to ensure that such tragedies do not remain unresolved. As the years rolled on, the case remained open. In 2021, a group of cold case detectives specifically focused on the yogurt shop murders revisited the possible connections between unsolved crimes in the area during that period. This collaborative effort aimed to uncover new leads based on the extensive DNA evidence that offered hope. Years later, despite the sense of urgency and dedication, the lives of the girls still impacted the community profoundly. The echoes of that cruel December night persisted, a testament to resilience and a commitment to seek justice in a case that has remained elusive. The yogurt shop murders represent not only a tragic moment in Austin's history but also a painful reminder of the universal need for justice when innocence is stolen. The quest for truth continues, stirring hope that one day justice will finally be served, enveloping their memories in peace. If anyone has information about the yogurt shop murders, please contact the Austin Police Department Homicide Tip Line at 512-477-3588 or Crime Stoppers at 512-472-TIPS. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to help grow the channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comments.